no, I ain't giving you up. I get love and try, giving you up. No, no, I ain't giving you up. Get love and try, giving you up. No, no, I ain't giving you up. No, more than I'm giving you up. No, no, I ain't giving you up. No, she's a roller coaster. Oh, she's so flirty. I'm burning up inside, but I can.
Hi, welcome to Yvonne Meets Food, where I share my passions for making food, eating food, as well as traveling the world to discover and eat even more delicious food. Today we have taken a day trip from Brussels to Bruges, which is a very old medieval town, which is about an hour train ride outside of Brussels. And so we're going to be exploring the town today, and one of the things we'll also be doing is having chocolate tastings, exploring the different waffles in the area. And so one of the famous places that is supposed to be a must-try for waffles is a place called Chez Albert. So we picked up a waffle from Chez Albert, which is on one of the main roads in the old town of Bruges. And so this is what it looks like. We picked the one that has chantilly or cream, as well as milk chocolate that's drizzled on top. The man who served us was really nice, and he gave us one that was just off the griddle, so it's definitely piping hot. And of course we got a little Belgian flag just to represent. So we're going to be taking a taste of this to see what it tastes like and to see how these measure up to the standard waffles that we get in the US. So based on my research, there are two main types of waffles that you can get here in Belgium. So when you're ordering waffles in Belgium, don't ask for a Belgian waffle, they're all freaking Belgian. The two types that you want to look for or ask for are the Brussels waffle and then the Liege waffle. Brussels waffle is like the waffle that you would get standard in the US or in Australia. It's usually rectangular in shape, it's very soft, it's very fluffy. And the Liege waffle is quite unique because they usually tend to be round in shape. They're a bit denser, definitely a lot richer, and they tend to have these really crunchy like sugar crystals that are in them that create crunch and more density in each bite. So I don't actually know which type we got. They just said waffles at Chez Albert, so we just picked the one with the milk chocolate and the cream. And so we are going to take a bite of this together to see what it is like.
What about the people that make all?
Just trying to get a bite of this, or scoop this out. Ooh, it's actually like quite much denser than I thought it would be. Scooping up some of the milk chocolate that we asked for and then some of this cream. Ooh. Okay, here goes. Wow. So it's still very warm off the griddle. It's much chewier than I expected it to be. On the outside is definitely very crunchy, which made it actually hard to use this plastic fork to get a piece off of it. But I don't know if you can kind of tell based on looking at this, but it's kind of airy and soft on the inside. You can't really tell how much chew there is until you put it into your mouth. But it's super chewy, and then it's crispy on the outside. That is super good. The texture is so different than waffles back home. And it also has like a bit of a vanilla-y flavor if you just get a bite of the waffle on its own. Eggy. Eggy, chewy, crunchy. Super yummy. And then based on my research, I had read that traditionally Belgians don't actually eat waffles with that many toppings the way we do back home in the US. In the US we tend to eat waffles with syrup, with a lot of fruit, whipped cream, chocolate. Here they're oftentimes just eaten very simply. So the waffle by itself with some powdered sugar and occasionally a drizzle of chocolate. But who can resist a chocolate, especially since we're in Belgium? So we're lucky that we are here in Bruges during the beginning of the holiday or the Christmas season. There are a bunch of Christmas decorations and Christmas lights that are all around the old town of Bruges, and we're actually standing right in the middle of a Christmas market that looks like it probably very recently went up. So there's all kinds of stalls that are selling Christmas ornaments, Christmas decorations, glühwein, so spiced mulled wine, and then also there are a lot of people just drinking and eating, a lot of sausages and delicious things that are being cooked up at the different stalls. So it's definitely very festive feeling right now, and it's nice to have this area to stand in the middle of the town where I can enjoy my delicious waffle. Probably for the last, 6 years, Chris and I have been traveling to Europe during American Thanksgiving week. It tends to be a low season of travel to Europe, depending on which country you're going to, but it's a good time to travel to Europe because it tends to be low season. There are less tourists that are going to be there, and that's a great week for us to get away. But it also means we get to experience these really gorgeous Christmas markets that happen throughout Europe. Some of the favorite ones that we've visited have been in Germany and in Austria, and then this year we're really lucky to be able to experience the ones here in Bruges as well as in Brussels. I would definitely say that this waffle has a far different texture, and both on the outside as well as on the inside than the average waffle that you would get back in the US. The texture is definitely what makes it really different. And the other thing is, it has less of an eggy taste than the waffles back in the US as well. It's much more light, has like a hint of vanilla flavor. And of course, this chocolate and this cream definitely help it. The cream is actually really good on its own. It's like really smooth, really pure tasting. It's stuck to the bottom. Okay, last bite. Still crunchy. That was the last bite of our very first waffle here in Belgium. So yummy, super delicious, very crunchy. So we're continuing our chocolate and waffle tour through Bruges, and we decided to stop by this one shop that is well known within Bruges for having all handmade chocolate, being very local. They actually do not have any locations that are outside of Bruges. So the place is called Chocolate Crown, and we decided to pick up a hot chocolate here after having lunch at the Christmas market. So the way they serve it to you once you buy it is they have this really frothy, hot, foamy milk that they put in a cup for you, and then they have the chocolate, which is on a stick, and then you can see this is already kind of melted, but you just take the stick and then you stir it in. So then the heat of the milk, of the super frothy, foamy, hot milk, cooks the chocolate, and then the chocolate just melts right into the milk. It just keeps getting melty, and it's just getting mixed into the milk, and it's getting thicker and thicker, and then it's even getting frothy on the top. So exciting, and it's super hot. It's not warm here, so this cup is really nice in my hand. Ooh, it's all done. Whee! This frothy cup of hot chocolate was €2.50, and you have the option of getting either dark chocolate or milk chocolate with your milk. And then since we already have it being served in hot frothy milk, we decided to get it with dark chocolate. Now we're gonna take a taste. Ooh, it's super thick, super frothy. Okay, here goes. This is super yummy. It's so thick and frothy because of the milk mixing with the chocolate. It's like pure chocolate stuck on a stick, and melted in the milk. So I think what really stands out, other than the richness of the chocolate being mixed with the milk, is just the mouth feel in my mouth. It's just very silky, it's very luxurious as it's kind of in my mouth and going down my throat, and just the feeling on my tongue. Super thick, really frothy, very lush on the tongue. Yummy. And it has almost like a nuttiness, and I don't really know where it's coming from. It's probably naturally coming from the chocolate. I don't believe there's any nuts in here, but it definitely has like a nutty aftertaste. It's really yummy. See, we're almost at the bottom of the cup. And see how frothy this milk and this chocolate still are? That almost never happens. That's crazy. Whee! See, this hot chocolate's crazy. We're literally at the very last sip and it's still super frothy. Frothy, frothy. How often does hot chocolate stay frothy until the very last sip? That's like crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna have the last sip. So rich and yummy. Love this hot chocolate. Continuing our chocolate waffle and now mulled wine tour of Bruges, and we just stopped by a really well reputed chocolatier called Du Monde Chocolatier, which is just about half a block that way. We're standing in the Christmas market right now, and so we decided to park ourselves here at this little table in the market. We got a little cup of Glühwein, or mulled spiced wine, at a little stall here. We got it for €3, and then we also picked up 3 different pralines to try out at Du Monde Chocolatier. So the 3 flavors that we got are tonka, pistachio, and then speculoos. Speculoos, obviously, because we're in Belgium. Belgium's very famous for speculoos, which is basically like a nut spread. And then tonka we got piqued our interest because tonka bean, which is apparently it's a legume that originates in South America. It's kind of like a raisin, and it has flavor notes of almond, cherry, vanilla, and a few other delicious things. I think cinnamon, different types of spices, like warm spices. This is apparently banned in the US. We don't totally know why, but whatever. We decided to get it because it's banned, and it's always nice to have things that you can't get in your own hometown or your own home country. So we're gonna try all 3 of these out and see how Du Monde Chocolatier is. I'm not totally clear on why, but the tonka bean has been banned in the US since 1954 because apparently there's some chemical or some enzyme in it where if you consume too much of it, it'll impact your liver negatively. I don't really understand the logic behind that because obviously alcohol can damage your liquor in high quantities or excessive quantities, but whatever, American logic. So we're gonna try all 3 of these, but then before we start, we're gonna start with our mulled wine, our Glühwein. It's always a treat to have this when we go to European Christmas markets. It's actually one of the things that Chris and I get super excited about every Thanksgiving when we come, which is usually like around the end of November, which also coincides with all of these amazing Christmas markets opening. So we're gonna have a sip of this and see how it is. It's super piping hot. You can see the steam like flying out. So cheers. Spicy. Even though it's wine, and it's mulled wine, it doesn't have like a very strong alcoholic taste. You can really taste the spices and the sweetness from the wine. It's just really, really warm, really nice and comforting. A little bit spiced, not too heavy on the spices. It's more just like sweet, and then as it goes down your throat and you just swallow it, you feel that warm sensation going down your esophagus, where you just feel like, ooh, this is definitely a little bit alcoholic, so it's kind of like tingly. nice and fruity. Fruity and spicy. Okay, so now we're gonna go on and eat the rest of our, or we're gonna start eating our chocolate. So we're gonna start with the tonka. No, it's tonka because it's obviously labeled that way. Okay, take one bite. The forbidden chocolate. Ooh. Smell it, it's a bit milky. So we're gonna take a bite. Colors like the little praline inside. Got the little legumes all chopped up, mint. It's really tasty. I can taste all the chocolate. I'm not sure if I can actually get a distinct bean taste. It's just really creamy, very rich and velvety. I don't know what's forbidden about this, but this tastes like really rich, velvety chocolate to me. So I'm having a bit of a hard time getting a taste of the tonka. So what I'm gonna attempt to do, even though this praline is quite small, is I'm just gonna try to get the innards into my mouth by biting it very small in the center. Very vanilla-y, very sweet. Still not quite sure I know what tonka itself would taste like, but it goes really well in this praline. That's a really good palate cleanser. Okay, now we're moving on. We're going to now have the pistachio praline. It's dusted on the top with some really finely ground pistachio nuts for a nice touch, and so you know what's on the inside, so there's no surprises. So here we go. This one is like stuffed with pistachio. Okay, so there is absolutely no doubt that there is pistachio that is just rammed into this teeny tiny chocolate praline. It's almost like it was perfumed with pistachio from the inside out. You can see if you look really carefully that there's really tiny brown bits of pistachio, which are all of those little bits of green that you see. Then it's also mixed up with what looks like cocoa butter and more milk chocolate. It's like pistachio perfume inside chocolate. So like pistachio perfume enrobed in milk chocolate. I love this one. Last bite of the pistachio one. Pistachio perfume in my mouth. That one was my fave so far. No offense, tonka bean. Tonka bean, you were fine, but you weren't as pronounced as pistachio. But then again, I'm biased because I love pistachio. Pistachio is like my favorite nut. Okay, last bite is going to be the speculoos praline that we picked out at Dumont. It's got this really nice imprint on the top. I can't really tell what it's supposed to look like, maybe some ornaments, but it's really pretty. And it's gonna be even more delicious when it's in my mouth. Here goes, speculoos, last one, at least from Dumont. Smells creamy. Okay. Wow. Okay. This one, if you guys know what biscoff are, biscoff, now those Belgian cookies that are super buttery. What are they characterized by? Maybe like cinnamon, spices, with lots and lots of butter. That's basically what this praline tastes like, except in the form of a piece of chocolate. Inside is really gooey, it's kind of caramelly and slightly spiced, and it's really nicely mixed with this milk chocolate. Okay, last bite of the speculoos. This is the last praline from Yvonne. Gotta make it count.
She's a roller coaster. Oh, she's a flame. I'm burning up inside, but I can feel no pain. I won't try to stop her. She can't be tamed. I'm so in love with her. I'll fall and try again. Get up and try.
So we're at our last waffle stop for the day in Bruges, and we actually were lucky and found the spot that I wanted to go to in one of the Christmas markets here in Bruges. So the place I was looking for was Oh Yeah Waffles, and they have a stall here in the Christmas market, so it made it really convenient to find them. So we got this Liege Style waffle from them. It cost €2.50. They had already had a batch that they were putting in their cast iron pan, so this was already ready to go pretty much by the time that I made my order. So I got this really simple because we've had a bunch of chocolate today. We had hot chocolate. We also had a very indulgent waffle earlier from Chez Albert with the chocolate and the cream. So this one we have very simple. It's just the waffle with some powdered sugar, which is a very traditional way that Belgians like to eat their waffles. And the other fun tip that I learned is that usually another thing that characterizes a Liege waffle versus a Brussels waffle is that the Liege waffle is made with a really, really thick dough. So it very much resembles like a bread dough or a very thick like chocolate chip cookie dough. So it's very thick and it's very doughy versus a Brussels style waffle. It's really more like the waffle batter that you would see in other countries or in the US. So it would be more like a regular batter. So you learn something new every day, so that was really fun, and it was nice to get that little tidbit from him, because if he didn't tell me that, I definitely would not have done that, because I also did not read that in any of my research. So we're going to take a bite of this, hot off of the iron. So this is our waffle, just with the powdered sugar. Ooh, it's also very chewy looking, very dense. Smells like it's been caramelized, probably just because it was cooked on the iron. It's like very thick, so we're gonna take a bite. This one's so good. So this one, I don't know how it got this way, probably because of the cast iron, but the edges are super crispy, really crunchy. It's almost like they have like a thin layer of sugar that they coated it with, but I know he didn't because I saw him actually making it. And the inside is just really like almost borderline custardy, very doughy, very chewy, very, it feels like it would be dense at the first bite when you kind of clamp your teeth down into it, but then it just gets really soft and gets really soft and, I don't know, supple? I don't know if that's the right word. And the waffle itself is just very vanilla-y. Like the vanilla flavor is very, very strong. It's so good plain. Like you really don't even need any toppings on this because it's so the waffle itself is so flavorful on its own. Ooh, we're getting sugar everywhere. That's so good. The waffle's already gotten cold, but then the crunch has remained on the outside edges. I don't even know how it does that. It usually gets soggy. Inside's still super doughy. One of the best waffles. Oh yeah, waffle, Liege waffle. So I think overall it's really hard to compare the two Liege waffles we had today. So the first one we had was from Chez Albert. The second one was from the Christmas stall, the Christmas market stall that Oh Yeah Waffles was managing. And I think that of the two waffles, they both have things that are really great about them. It's also slightly not a fair comparison because we had the Chez Albert one with a lot of toppings with the whipped cream and the chocolate. Oh yeah waffle, we had it pure the way Belgians eat it with the plain powdered sugar. But I would say that the richer taste definitely came from the oh yeah waffle. The vanilla flavor came out quite a bit more, and it was also much more doughy. The chewiness in each bite all the way until the very end definitely remained, and the crispness of the outer edges of the waffle remained throughout as well. Whereas with the Chez Albert waffle, the crispness kind of started dying towards the end, which you can't really blame that because that's generally what happens with food as it gets colder, even though it's supposed to be crunchy on the outside. But I would definitely recommend that you go try both and see which one you personally prefer. But I do think that the stronger flavor and the better texture was from the oh yeah waffle. I also just really loved all the chocolate that we had. I think that Du Monde Chocolatier was delicious. Definitely want to go back and buy some chocolates to bring home. And the Chocolate Crown, which is the place where we had the hot chocolate from, was super rich, very decadent, very frothy all the way until the very end. So it seems like that really fresh quality, both in the waffle as well as in the hot chocolate, kind of remained throughout. So that frothiness, that thickness, that richness definitely just continued from the first bite until the end, until the last bite. So I think that pretty much wraps up our day of eating chocolate as well as waffles here in Bruges in Belgium. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and found it entertaining. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. I would love to hear your comments in the comment section below. Please subscribe for more food, more travel, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks again for watching. Bye.